Good evening and welcome to Lakeway Commons. Could this weather be any better than this? You can plan for a lot of things, but not for this. The weather gods were kind to us today. I'd like to give a special welcome to Lieutenant Governor Karyn Polito, State Senator Mike Moore, State Representative Hannah Kane, members of the town boards, town staff, town manager Kevin Mizikar, and former town manager Dan Morgado, all other honored guests, and the residents of this wonderful community of Shrewsbury. Along with my co-host of this event, Unibank, and also the Corridor 9 Chamber of Commerce, who worked very hard to help organize this evening, I'm delighted to finally be here today to officially open Lakeway Commons. Over 4 years ago, we started down this path to redevelop this iconic property. We persevered through site complexities, town meetings, frivolous litigation, time delays, rising construction costs, and having to assemble 6 additional parcels beyond the Spags property to make Lakeway Commons and the adjacent residential development all fit appropriately. But here we are today to celebrate the completion of this development and to officially become an active member of the Shrewsbury community. We'll be unveiling a memorial to Spags shortly, but first there are some groups and individuals I must thank for helping to get Lakeway Commons over the finish line. State Representative Hannah Kane, the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Board, all work closely with us to comment on and collaborate on the vision we had for Lakeway Commons. And I must give a separate and sincere thank you to 2 folks who skillfully guided us through the process, working with us and making sure we understood what was expected of us and making sure we executed what we promised. First, a thank you to Kristen Loss, Assistant Town Manager and formerly Town Planner. And second, a special thank you to the recently retired Town Manager, Dan Morgado. Best of luck to you, Dan, and thank you. I also need to remember some other groups instrumental to making Lakeway Commons happen. My equity partners at AEW, who I believe are here tonight, Criterion Development, who did such a fine job designing and building Quinn 35, the 250-unit apartment building that you see adjacent to Lakeway Commons, CM&B, our construction managers, Blackbrook Realty, who built the 14 townhomes adjacent to the apartments, my staff, the best in the business, led by Mark Hebert, who has worked this project with me from day one, my son Paul Grossman, and Nicole Nielsen, who have leased the retail stores for us, and Paul assures me we'll be 100% committed by year end. Our architect, PCA, who designed the retail, my public relations consultant, Melissa Pride-Faz, who's guided me through this whole local scene and has worked tirelessly on this event tonight. And a special thanks to all my tenants, especially Whole Foods, who stuck by us through a 1.5 years of delay that we encountered. We all look forward with great anticipation to your opening. And of course, thanks to my family for always being so supportive of what I am doing. Now, before we unveil the memorial, there are a few people who would like to say a few words about what Lakeway Commons and of course Spags mean to them. First, it's my honor and privilege to present our State Senator, Michael Moore.
just turned to Lieutenant Governor. I said, I'm actually before you for the first time. So it's great to be here. Good evening, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. It's great to see so much excitement for this ribbon cutting ceremony. This is the results of continued support and collaboration between local and state officials and private sector partnerships here in the town of Shrewsbury. For those of us who fondly remember Spags and have lived in the area, it was a family-owned business for many decades which stood on this surrounding ground. Spags opens its doors in 1934 and was beloved by the area residents for its commitment and dedication to both consumers and the community. I can remember growing up in the town of Millbury, and when I was growing up, my father used to drive a limo occasionally, and when they'd go to Boston and pick people up at Logan Airport and bring them out here, what's one of the first locations people would ask to go see out here was Spags. I think if you can show the respect or I guess how successful a company can be to have your business in the town of Shrewsbury, this area, being known internationally or nationally, I can't think of how you can really express what a great job you can do for it to have one location here in this one town to be known so well and favorably. While I may not have been around during the Spags grand opening 82 years ago, I can only imagine the same excitement that we all feel now resonated among area residents. It's a great welcome to this new commercial development and to our neighborhood. Today, we have the opportunity to start a new chapter on economic prosperity and partnerships within the Shrewsbury community and beyond. This project is yet another step forward in transforming the Route 9 corridor here in the town. As we set aside from other expanding opportunities for local consumers, Lakeway Commons has created and will continue to support hundreds of jobs directly and indirectly with the construction, retail, restaurants, and distribution industries. I know we always focus what's happening in the local community when we have a store or a facility like this opening up. Is that better? Okay. I know we always focus on the direct impact of the neighborhood. But if you can look at the economic opportunities that this is going to be providing to people from the surrounding towns, the region, from the housing to the jobs, we always talk about trying to find employment opportunities for our young children or our youth in high school. Having a facility like this for the restaurants or even our individuals who may have retired, giving them the economic opportunities to come and work and actually continue to have a quality of life. So I want to thank everyone who's here today who contributed to making this day possible. And I'm proud to stand here today as we mark the beginning of a new era of economic revitalization in the Route 9 area of Shrewsbury. And I also have the privilege now of introducing the local state representative, who you all know, and my colleague in the legislature, who has been great to work with over the last 3 years, Representative Hannah Kane.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here with all of you today for the grand opening celebration. You are the people who will work here, shop here, bank here, work out here, and live here, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this opening celebration. I'm proud to stand amongst so many people who have worked so hard and shared Howard Grossman's vision and determination to make the Lakeway Commons project a reality. It has taken the efforts of so many to get to this day. I want to also thank Unibank and Corridor 9 Chamber of Commerce and my good friend Melissa Pride-Foz for all your work in making today's fantastic celebration a success. Like so many of you, I've eagerly watched the Commons come to life before our very eyes and witnessed the benefits of this site's rejuvenation. The importance of this development project for Shrewsbury cannot be overstated. By providing increased employment opportunities and the generation of much-needed new commercial tax revenue, the Lakeway Commons project is a great boost, both economically and aesthetically, for our town. While I shared this story with some of you at the groundbreaking, it illustrates well the expansiveness of SPAG's reputation. 20 years ago this past September, my fiance, Jim, and I set out looking to buy a house in central Massachusetts. Jim had grown up in Marlborough, and as I began to look in real estate magazines, I told Jim that there were some great-looking homes in Shrewsbury that I wanted to check out. Jim turned and looked at me and said, "Shrewsbury? That's Route 9 and SPAGs. You really want to look there?" And fortunately, as with most advice my husband has given me in life, I overlooked it, and we came forward and looked in the town of Shrewsbury. But for Jim, having grown up 7 miles away in Marlborough, Shrewsbury was SPAGs, and SPAGs was Shrewsbury. It was the heart and soul of this community. Jim's parents were both educators in Marlborough, and they got paid every Thursday and would proceed to go to the bank, cash their checks, buy their groceries, go to Friendly's, where Jim would get a chocolate fribble every single Thursday, and then they would come here to SPAGs every Thursday. That was their tradition. As Jim got older, he earned extra money by driving a delivery truck for Cavicchio's Garden Center, loaded up with tomato plants that were no doubt for the annual tomato plant giveaway that SPAGs was legendary for. Jim apparently arrived later than his scheduled time at SPAGs and proceeded to get yelled at by someone in the garden center as he pulled in, who to this day Jim swears was Mo DiPaolo, longtime SPAGs worker and current dear friend and colleague of Jim's on the Board of Selectmen. For me, what I've learned since living here is that the Brigatti family cared deeply for our community. This was their home. SPAGs was special because they were special. And this part of Route 9 truly served as the heartbeat of Shrewsbury. Everyone had a story about SPAGs and the Brigatti family. The SPAGs era was a golden one for our town, and the Brigatti's family's rich legacy lives on in so many ways. And as wonderful as the Lakeway Commons project is, for me, what is most special is the man who envisioned and drove this project, Howard Grossman. In so many ways, Shrewsbury has struck gold again. Where others saw a litany of dilapidated buildings, complex ownership dynamics, and paper streets, Howard saw opportunity, and he worked closely with the strong and supportive partners in the town of Shrewsbury and the Lakeway Business District. Not only is Shrewsbury fortunate to be the beneficiary of Howard's vision and commitment, Shrewsbury is fortunate to once again have a landmark destination owned by such a caring and generous man, one who recognized the importance of memorializing SPAGs. Howard, I know I speak for many when I tell you how appreciative we are that you and your team, most notably Mark Hubert, came to town wanting to become a part of the fabric of our community. Your business and personal character are reflective of the legacy of this very spot. And your character and commitment to being a terrific development partner is also fully evident in all of the fabulous businesses now calling Lakeway Commons home. I'm looking forward to working with each business here as you become cemented into the fabric of our community. I hope each one of you, if you have not already, will join us in becoming members of the Corridor 9 Chamber of Commerce and the Lakeway Business District. And now it is up to us, the consumers, to make this landmark destination a common one, and to show our support for these fantastic businesses in the Lakeway Commons. And I want to give a special shout out to two of my dear friends and local ladies, Jen DeMaria and Kristen Maynard, who are opening up Jenny Boston here. I'm very excited to see this women-owned local business opening here as part of Lakeway Commons. Thank you again, Howard, for making this landmark destination one that celebrates the former iconic destination of SPAGs, while bringing new life to our town with a development that will serve our community for generations to come. It is now my honor to introduce my good friend, your neighbor here, and our Lieutenant Governor, Karyn Polito.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is just an honor to be here, standing, I think what might have been the ramp or fish and tackle if we were in the old SPAGs. I don't know, Mo, where do you think we're standing?
About at the bottom of the ramp.
About at the bottom of the ramp, right? But actually, we're standing at the front door of the Lakeway Commons, which was the front door of SPAGs. And as we come here tonight, I think it's really important as a community to just go back in time for a bit. And when you think about the moment that we're in, it is a milestone moment bringing the past, the present, and the future all to this moment. And I don't know if Mike Perner is here, our town historian, but I certainly hope that he will capture everything that this moment is about. And when you think about 1934, when Spag Anthony Brigatti started this store out of an attempt to find a way to provide affordable things to the families and the people who lived in that time. A time when it was challenging and difficult, but he came forward and opened a store for people to come to. And that store certainly evolved to a place that didn't just offer something to the people in this immediate area, but eventually it attracted people from all over New England to come to Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, to find that bargain to support their family. And for me, as a daughter of this great town, here with Jean and Sandy, Mary Brigatti, and my mom, Judy, I think about all that Spags offered to the young people in this community. It's a place where, when I first learned how to work, it was at Spags. Learning how to punch a pay clock, punch into work, learning how to work, being punctual, being courteous, being able to do anything that Spag or John Cullen or any of the department heads asked you to do. And it was a place for not only the new worker, but the college student, the graduate, and many others just came to work. In fact, when I was working here, I had the opportunity to work with my mother and my grandfather. And that is true for many families in Shrewsbury, where you had at least 3 generations working together. And I share that story because I think it's a moment where it's okay to dwell a little bit in the past, because the past has really made us who we are. And as we come to this moment, I just want to say a profound thank you to Howard for understanding how much the past means to all of us here in Shrewsbury. And when we come to this moment to now take the past and move forward, we do so in Shrewsbury with a very fine tradition. All of us who supported Spags then are certainly coming forward to support Howard Grossman and the Lakeway Commons. I was just here last night trying to get into the tavern in the square, and there wasn't a parking space to be found. I then went over to Burton's, and also not a space to be found. And I have the opportunity now as a neighbor to walk here with my husband and my dog to go to Starbucks. And it has just opened up such a quality of life, not only for the people who live here, but our new neighbors who will soon be populating the apartments here in Shrewsbury. And I come to this moment very grateful that Howard Grossman and his team recognized how special a place that our town is. And I'm grateful that you believe in this community, that you invested in this community, and you are helping this community now see a very bright future. It's to be mindful that although Spags in its heyday was everything that we love and cherish, there was a period of time where this property was very dark. And it took someone like you to see beyond that and to recognize the promise of this great part of our Commonwealth. And as we come here, all of us, those who have been in this community for generations, those who are new to this community, let's be grateful for what we have, remembering our past, cherishing the moment, and supporting our future. And I really believe that the great mark of our success here in Shrewsbury is the fact that so many have stayed here in this great town. The sons, the daughters, the grandsons, the grandchildren, all coming back to this community because of what it offers. Great schools, great jobs and opportunities, and a great quality of life. And for us here in Shrewsbury who have called this home for generations, we all owe Howard Grossman a great debt of gratitude for helping Shrewsbury move forward in a wonderful direction. We are very grateful, we are thankful, and we will support you, like we did Spags, to be successful for many years to come. With that, please join me in giving a very warm Shrewsbury welcome to our friend, Howard Grossman.
Oy. Tough to follow that. Very, very grateful. But now it's time to unveil this special tribute to Spags and the Bugattis. Spag was not just an incredible entrepreneur, ahead of his time as a leading-edge retailer. He was a great philanthropist in this community. And it's only fitting that we honor his legacy with this memorial area where people can sit and reminisce the many ways that Spags was important in their lives. I would like to recognize at this time David Phillips. David is the sculptor I commissioned to do the tribute plaques here. David is here tonight, and once you have had a chance to view the memorial, and you really do have to take a look at the detail that he's done with this, you will really see what a true artist David is. And I'd also like to recognize Spag's daughters, who I'm so grateful I hear tonight, Sandy and Jean. It seems to me the best way to conclude the ceremony prior to unveiling the memorial is to read to you the inscription that we placed in bronze on this monument. And it reads, "From 1934 to 2004, Spags was an iconic discount retailer where customers went to find it all, from fishing lures to eggs and everything in between. Considered an adventure in shopping where you could always count on seeing your neighbors, No Bag Spags was environmentally friendly before it was savvy to be, and kept prices low, in part through a long-time resistance to accepting credit cards. Owner Anthony Spag Bugatti and his wife Olive will long be remembered for their generosity to employees and customers, as well as for their philanthropic community efforts to make life a little better for those in need. From the generations of young adults, who we just heard, who held their first job here, to the thousands of customers for whom it was their go-to place for shopping, the legacy and spirit of Spags continues to shine on in the hearts of our community." And now it's time to unveil the memorial. If we could have Lieutenant Governor Polito, State Rep Hannah Kane, and State Senator Mike Moore over to the memorial. Thank you all. This concludes this part of the evening. Thanks again to all, and enjoy the evening.